rise of the Crossbow legend in Roblox Rivals. In the action-packed world of Roblox Rivals, where weapons clash and legends are born every day, few stories have reached the same mythic status as the tale of the Crossbow wielder known only as Lynx. How swords, hammers, and magic dominate the battlefield, one player proved that precision, patience, and one perfectly placed bolt could change everything. This is the story of how the most underestimated weapon in the game became a symbol of strategy, silence, and unstoppable power, and how a lone player turned a forgotten tool into a force feared across the entire Rivals arena. It started during the Rivals Arena Trials, a special event where players from across all regions competed in clash-restricted challenges. Swordsmen fought swordsmen, mages battled mages, and a small group of ranged fighters entered what was considered the least exciting category of projectile weapons. Crossbows, often overlooked in favor of rapid-fire bows or explosive launchers, were seen as slow and weak. Most players avoided them altogether. But one competitor signed up with nothing but a base-tier crossbow and a custom skin marked by a single white arrow. But he expected her to win. That was their first mistake. Lynx was quiet. She didn't join voice chat, rarely typed in team chat, and let her gameplay speak. While others ran headfirst into combat, she perched silently on rooftops and tree branches, always calculating, always watching. She didn't need to fire rapidly. One shot, one elimination. Her crossbow didn't scream for attention, it whispered death from a distance. Early matches saw her picking off aggressive players to focus on melee fights to notice the glowing bolt in their chest. What began as luck quickly turned into fear. By round 3, players began scanning the skies before charging into battle. Her presence changed how matches were played. The quarterfinals took place on a map called Mistvale Hollow, a fog-covered woodland with narrow paths and high cliffs. Lynx climbed silently, landing on a ruined tower where she had full view of every approach. As other teams eliminated each other in loud, messy battles, she waited. Then, with only 4 players left, she fired once, eliminating a healer mid-race. Then again, catching a runner trying to hide in the mist. When the final player reached her tower with a sword raised, Lynx rolled backward, reloaded mid-air, and fired point blank. She won without taking a single hit. Crowd erupted and social media was flooded with replays of the final moment. People started asking, who is Lynx? The semifinals introduced a twist players had to switch teams after every round. That meant Lynx couldn't rely on teammates who understood her playstyle. She adapted. She never missed. Even when trapped in close quarters combat, she would leap from windows or duck behind low walls, always finding the angle to land the perfect shot. One opponent tried using a shield to deflect her bolts. She waited for him to swing before hitting his exposed foot. Another used invisibility. She watched for disturbed grass and fired into thin air. The bolt hit. She didn't speak once, but every arena shouted her name. By the time the finals arrived, Lynx was the story. Players built loadouts specifically to counter her. Traps were set on high ground. Drones were deployed to skin bushes and towers. But none of it mattered. The final arena was the Sunbreaker Coliseum, a massive circular pit with tiered platforms and collapsing structures. It seemed like the worst possible map for a long-range player, and yet Lynx thrived. She used the chaos to vanish. While the others brawled, she moved between shadows, eliminating key players when it mattered most. When the final circle shrunk to a tiny arena, only Lynx and a juggernaut named Vera remained. Vera was everything she was not: loud, aggressive, built like a tank with twin axes and fire armor. He taunted her in chat, "Come out and fight, coward." She did. Lynx dropped from the top platform, fired one bolt into the wall behind him, and rolled behind a pillar. Pharaoh charged. She waited. As he turned the corner swinging, she shot a bolt at the ceiling. It bounced once, ricocheted off a metal beam, and struck his exposed back. Game over. The arena fell silent for a moment, then exploded. Lynx had done the impossible. She won the championship with a weapon no one respected. For her victory, the developers added a new item to the Lynx's legacy crossbow, a high-tier weapon with slow reload but deadly accuracy. It came with a custom sound effect, a white bolt trail, and a passive that revealed enemies briefly after a direct hit. Players rushed to unlock it, but few could match Lynx's skill. She remained a ghost in the game, rarely appearing in public lobbies. When she did, players either ran or tried desperately to outshoot her. Most failed. What made her legend even greater was that she never played the same way twice. Unmatched, she would climb the highest tower. The next, she would stay in the fog, setting traps. She used terrain better than anyone. She never taunted, never celebrated, never broke her silence. She simply played one shot at a time. Years later, players still tell stories of Lynx. Some claim to have fought her in private matches. Others say she trained a small group of new snipers. Today in Roblox Rivals, crossbow mains carry a quiet pride. They are the observers, the tacticians, the last to fire and the first to change the tide. And every time a bolt lands from a hidden perch or ricochets around a corner, players know they're following in the footsteps of the one who proved that silence can be deadlier than chaos. The last arrow is never just a weapon in the hands of the right player, it's a legacy.